That's what I was looking for. Forgot to take that off. How we doing, everybody? Lev Farmer 73 here. How are we doing? It's good to see everybody here. We're gonna be talking about something a little different right now. Now, before I get started, I'm gonna address a situation that's going on, which is I was supposed to put out the video yesterday, which is I was supposed to put out the video yesterday of the generator release. Hey, Game Nerd Mom, I was supposed to release the video yesterday. There has been some discrepancies with the code that'll give you a discount for the Alcatel. So I withheld the video because the last time we did this with the Bean, everybody was like, "Is something wrong with the code?" I don't want to have nobody that confused ever again. So I put it on hold. Excuse me. And so as soon as we get the code worked out and knock the bugs out of it, I'll release it. Cause I don't want to release it unless it's going to help anybody. So it's good to see everybody here. I am here, and this time, yeah, I kept y'all over 4 hours the other day. Look at that. Ooh, look at that. You won't even believe that's a lemon, would you? That is a lemon. I wanted to tell you guys, I kept you 4 hours with me the other day, so we ain't gonna make this long. I did just want to address a situation and make everybody, hey Elisa, make everybody aware. I can see a little better here. That maybe we need to think about a couple of other avenues that we ain't quite thinking about. Well, I'm not. So I just wanted to throw this at you, and I'm gonna get right into it. Let's see. Thank you, Game Nerd Mom. Red dot, red dot. Aim for the thinker. Okay, just no time for that. So here we go. You guys, we've been talking about a lot of stuff with preparation and everything, and making sure you're okay. Let me wipe this off too. Making sure you're okay in your home and in your garden and everything else. But this is 2021. No mass information site, man. Oh my God. You don't have to ever have any, my friend. Good God. Here's the deal. Ignorance always throws me off. I promise you. That always just. I'm a strong guy. Ignorance is my kryptonite. It's my kryptonite. Hold on one second. Okay, so hold on. Okay, there we go. All right. So here we go. No, I had to handle something first before we can go any further. Listen, it's people that believe in what's going on right now, and there's people that don't. Totally understandable. I'm not against or I'm not for, but I'm going to let you know for just in case. For just in case, okay? Let's just say the common cold, the flu. It is still flu season, even though we don't talk about that much. Okay? The only way we're going to get through that is part of it is, keeping yourself healthy. The biggest part of that is The biggest part of that is isolation. Isolation. So we have to separate ourselves, and it gave me a lot of thoughts, and I'm a tip onto that real quick because it gave me a lot of thoughts. One of them is maybe it's time. We had a long talk, 4 hours. I mean, for the 4 hour video the other day, and part of that I touched on. Maybe it's not such a bad idea for us to start thinning ourselves out. Like, how close are your neighbors? Remember when I was talking about the apartment, living in an apartment, death trap. So the thing is, if you live in a little apartment complex and y'all walk out the same hall, up the same hall, the same steps, everything as you're trying to go in and out for the day, whatever. You use the water hose, they use the water hose. Everything you do is part of theirs. So when they start catching cold, you start hearing coughing and sneezing and snotting in the apartment upstairs. Next thing you know, you get it. Because your hand touching the handrail, they hand touching the handrail. They kids is going to school with your kids. They kids catch the same school bus you catch your kids do. Next thing you know, you start, and I'm not talking about this about something I think, I'm talking about something I know. Everybody in that apartment complex, you hear them sneezing and snotting, and that's what the conversation you have in the hallway. Like, oh, you got it too? Yeah, man, I messed around and got sick. That all happened right there. So maybe it's time, it's not such a bad idea. Okay, I'm okay. Maybe it's not such a bad idea to really start looking for land and thinning ourselves out. We have gotten so congested living in apartment buildings and living in the city where I'm from. Every house was this thin. I promise you. And Game Nerd Mom is in here, and she's where I'm from. Some houses you literally have to turn sideways to walk through them. And I'm not talking about a big person. A thinner person literally have to turn sideways to get through them. So you're basically living right on, and that's a whole house. You're basically living right on top of somebody else. And this is another true fact. You'll be living in a house that you're so close to your neighbor, and Game Nerd Mom can attest to this, especially on the north side, okay? You can run out of toilet paper. I'm just being funny, but I'm serious. You can run out of toilet paper, and if you was that close to your neighbor and y'all was that cool, you can literally hand a roll of toilet paper to your neighbor that lives in a whole nother big house next to you. That's how close you live to one another. If you can't hand it to them, you can, listen, when I say toss, I mean like that. That's as far as you go. 9 times out of 10, you got the same clothesline attached to each other house and everything. So maybe it's not such a bad thing for us to start looking for land and thinning ourselves out. And I'm not talking about just because of your dreams and the things that you want. I'm talking about if there keeps being germs, we're going to call it, floating around to keep changing, and it's getting to a point where we cannot keep up with the next chapter of the next germ, is getting to a point we can't keep up. And then it's going to come to a point where, when is it going to get to a point where we're going to just have to let this thing run rampant and take a lot of us out? So if that does happen, maybe we should really, really start acting on thinning ourselves out. I was thinking about something. Before we moved into this house right here, I was on land. That was the real Easley Island. And we were on land. And then listen, The closest neighbor I had, you would have to get on a bicycle to go to their house. Okay, you could walk to their house, but you're gonna be walking for a minute or two. Okay, so let's just put it like this: if their house caught on fire, I wouldn't be thinking about my house catching on fire because that's how far away they are. Okay, if something happened to them, it is not going to affect me. So when they get sick, I won't have to worry about getting sick. So if anything was to happen to each and every one of us, me and my neighbors, that was not the next guy's problem per se. It's not going to affect them if their house burnt to the ground or flooded to the ground or what have you. That's how far away you were. But living in the city, even as far away from my neighbors as I am now, I can hear my neighbors cough or sneeze from over here. If you can hear them, you can catch it. And I'm gonna say this. Think about this. Have you ever been walking down the street and you start smelling cigarette smoke? Somebody is smoking a cigarette, but you don't see nobody around. If you can smell that cigarette, they are fairly close. You could throw a rock and hit them. That's how close they are. If you smell somebody pass gas, you're entirely too close to that person. I'm just saying. I'm all serious, all joking aside. Seriously, if you can smell somebody else pass gas, you're entirely too close to them. So imagine if you could smell another person with flatulence. If they got some kind of illness, the possibility of you catching the same illness is very likely. So if you could smell a cigarette, I could smell, if my neighbors across the road from me right now, as far away as they is, if they smoke a cigarette, I can smell it. That's still too close. Now, where I used to live, all my neighbors smoked. I could barely see them. You wouldn't literally need binoculars. They'll be out there smoking all kind of stuff. I can't smell it though. No matter which way the wind is blowing. By the time it got to me, I could see a grocery bag or something blowing in the wind. And by the time it got to me, now they up there on the hill smoking, that air coming all the way down, I never smelled a thing. So maybe it's time we thin ourselves out a little bit. And when I was talking about isolation and quarantine, have you set up some sort of, because this is all about reality prepping. Okay, we have fun with it, but sometimes the reality needs to really get punched in real hard. Have you set up some sort of isolation, quarantine room, closet, shed, garage, a space in your home or on your land? Have you set this up? The reason why I'm asking you this is because if things keep going the way they're going, it may come to a time. I'm gonna get on some science fiction stuff for a second, okay? I'm just gonna use this as an example. If you watch one of those space alien type movies, when they come back into the ship, they got lift their arms and get sprayed with the little, antivirus stuff on them before they can enter the ship. They hang their clothes on a certain rack in a certain closet in a certain room before they can even come into the ship. Usually it don't work and the alien is inside somebody. But right now, we really do need to be thinking about isolation. As sad as it is, as it's a reality now. It's sad, and it almost, you don't even want to hear, you don't even want to say it out of your mouth. But if one of us was to get sick in your family, it's not about you anymore. It's about them. Especially if you had a household, you got to say stuff like this. Listen, ain't nobody really ready to meet the Father, okay? I mean, let's be for real. Not in this capacity. But you got to start being realistic with yourself. If you're not being realistic with yourself, you live in a lie. Meaning, okay, if something happened to me, I do want my children to go on and take over. I want my sons to take over my spot. Have I trained them enough to take care of the land, take care of their mother, take care of their sisters, take care of the chickens, take care of the livestock, take care of the garden? Have I done that? See, we so busy thinking about ourselves and what we're accomplishing in the garden. We keep thinking our children is just in the way. No, go on, move. Give me the shovel. You're doing it wrong. We shouldn't do that. It's annoying and it's cumbersome, but what we should be doing is preparing our children to take our place. We're not doing that anymore. Our kids is on the thumbs, and we in the garden. We got to stop that. And you know what? I'm guilty of that too. I've let my kids slide a lot. Now, they know what they're doing, but knowing what you're doing ain't enough. They need to be out here with us, because it's coming to a time where, especially our older generation, we starting to die off a lot younger with everything going on. So right now, we really, truly do need to start thinking about preparing our next generation, our next string to take over. So we can't just keep thinking about ourselves. Have you prepared any kind of financial wills, a living will? Have you prepared any of that stuff? Because I'm going to tell you where a lot of our wealth go. And we always talk about we're never offered opportunities of wealth. That's not fully the truth. We're not offered as much opportunities for wealth, but when we do break through and are offered opportunities of wealth and success, we're not always sure of the next level, meaning your living will and everything else. Things that you want to leave to your next string of family members, your next generation. So what happens a lot to our family wealth is it's legally taken away from you, because most of us end up dying in some silly incident. We never had no will or nothing, and it's little clauses when you pass away that even though you own this house, if it's not somewhere stating that it belongs to nephew Billy and he got papers to see it, the bank gonna be like, no. Well, my uncle wrote this. No. It's little clauses that takes and drinks up our financial wealth, where now the next generation is a lot worse off. If we're doing good now, you got your land, you got your finances together, you got money saved, you're doing the right things. Land, savings, wealth can all be taken away from you like that with a few little clauses that were not said in the contract or was never in the contract. We got to get for real and start signing legal documentation to pass what I have on to my next generation. Right, and a trust. Because you guys, I see it all the time. This family was well-to-do. They were okay. But it can be taken away from you like that. Just like if you're rich, you can be rich as you want to. And if you end up in the hospital, you know how fast, now I've seen this with my own eyes. You know how fast it takes a millionaire to become a hundredaire? Couple months in the hospital. It'll turn a man that was driving a Ferrari, he's starting to look at a Ford Focus now. I kid you not. I've seen it with my own eyes, okay? I've stood over a man, and one in particular, he got broke real quick. As a matter of fact, this is a true story, and I always tell it because I can't. This man was crying, and you want to know why he was crying? Because he didn't believe, and I'm not gonna get into politics, but he didn't believe in that one president that tried to give free health care for everybody. His health care system, his health care, okay? He was totally and utterly against it. He voted it down. He didn't want it. He thought it was ridiculous. He thought that was just for poor people and everything. When that man left the hospital, mind you, he didn't leave on his own 2 feet. He probably left with some wings on his back, if you dig what I'm saying. By the time he left that hospital, that president that he did not like, his healthcare system was paying for his hospital stay. It don't take long to drain that pocket. I don't care how much you got. Okay? Because y'all don't know what a lot of us medical professionals do know. Every single thing inside of that room costs you money. That little shampoo, that little thin bar of soap. What y'all don't see what we do is when we go in that back room to fill that room up, we have a scanner. Just like at the grocery store. Boop, that little soap might run you $80. Now, I ain't gonna say that, but you understand. Ridiculous. You know how much a big bar of soap costs. Okay, it ain't gonna cost nothing like that. Boop, $5 for that little potato chip soap. Boop, $25 for that little thing of shampoo. I'm gonna skip off on something real quick, and I'm gonna tell you this. Have you an overnight bag all the time ready for the hospital. And tell them when you get there, the first thing, anybody that's you might be passed out. If somebody else is there and they can speak for you, tell them, take everything out of this room. Take that soap, take all of that. No, don't give me another blood pressure cuff. We gonna make this one last. Don't give me that one little O2 sensor. Give me the old school plastic one to clip on my finger. Because once that cord break, now we got to go get you another one. That's going to cost you another $80. Nope, give me the plastic one. So all we got to do is keep wiping it off. Give me that old school blood pressure cuff, or do it manually, or nope, because every time I get a blood pressure cuff, that's going to run you $40. Don't give me the line. I ain't going to get on that. All my medical professionals know that. That's what you don't know. Behind that curtain, there's a menu. We're in the back room like we work at a fast food place. Soap, boop. Shampoo, boop. Conditioner, boop. You ain't gonna never use none of that stuff. None of it. Every time, can I get another pair of them warm socks? You sure can. Can I get another box of Kleenex? You sure can. Boop, boop. I can't make this up. And if you don't know, do some research. I'm not talking about something I don't know. I'm talking about something exact. I know it because I did it. I lived it. And anybody in here, medical professional, know I ain't lying to you. Now, we need to start thinking about, and I know this is kind of morbid, it's kind of grim. We need to be start thinking about our demise. When I say thinking about our demise, I mean it in a couple of different senses of the word. Say we are isolated and we are ready and end up having to meet the Father. Number one, thank you, Thunder. We need to start thinking about two things on our demise. Well, several things. One is, what am I leaving to everybody else? People don't like talking about death. We always talking about living longer and being healthy. We never ever talk about death. Never. As much as it happened to us, we never talk about it. We need to start talking about leaving wealth to our next of kin or our next family member, the next string. We also need to start talking about getting ourselves ready to meet the Father. We don't talk about that enough. We need to start talking about it. What are we going to do? You know what? In most families, especially mine, you know what we say growing up. Well, what and I'm guilty of it. My parents was like, now when I die, I want you to Dad, I don't want to hear that. No, I don't want to talk about you dying. Okay, we'll talk about that another day. I don't want to talk about you dying. All of us, and you guilty of it too, just like I am. I don't want to talk about that, Dad. Where I need you to know where the safety is, and I need you to know where the keys at, man. I do not want to talk about that. Next thing you know, boom, they gone, and you don't know nothing. You don't know what to do. Half of us end up your loved one or pass away. You didn't even know they was filthy rich, but you know who did know they was filthy rich? The banks and the lawyer. The bank and the lawyer knew they had money. You don't. Next thing you know, you find out because the lawyer give you the paper saying, "Oh, he was sitting on 800,000. How much of that we get?" Well, he didn't have anything prepared. So it's going to have to, go through the court systems. We got to stop talking about living, and we got to start talking about dying as well. Not in a bad way, but in a realistic way. Because I'm going to tell you why this is an issue for me. Because the people that talk and have family conversations about their death, or in case of someone's death in the family, the families that have those conversations are always the ones like you saw their granddaddy had money in the neighborhood, their mom and daddy had money. Now we grown, their kids got money. Like, but but he's a bum. How do he still got money? They had that conversation a long time ago. And all them trusts is set up where that money just pass on hand to hand. And if you don't know how that work, that's why when Big Mama passed away, and then people give them like a doggone $30,000 funeral, the lawyer got some, the funeral home got some, and then you got a $20,000 or $30,000 casket up under the ground. None of that make no sense. We got to start being a little bit more realistic about living and more realistic about passing away, because that's where all of our family wealth is going as a people. It ain't just all of us don't have the opportunity to be successful. Once we're successful, we do not talk about how to make our next generation successful. How to not make them, but keep them successful. Keep them successful. Okay? So, with all that said, I'm going to move on to this. If you do have to isolate yourself for any reason whatsoever, you need to start thinking about having a room, having some space in your home, in your shed, on your land, another house you may own, whatever, and make it the isolation spot. With that being said, does that isolation spot, now this is part of our prepping, but this is a whole nother mind sense of it. Is it enough food in that space or in that area of the house, shed, garage, land, vacation house? Is it enough water? Is it enough food? Is it enough medication? Because we don't like being isolated. But that's going to help stop the unnecessary deaths. So we're not just preparing for like the apocalypse. Everybody's preparing for the sun to explode. And I always tell you, that's not what I prepare for. I prepare for everyday situations. This is what you need to keep in your head. That's why everybody like, I want a generator to run the whole house. And I keep saying, why though? Why? We need to be thinking about reality, more reality. So all them cars was stuck on that highway last week for what was it, a day, 2 days, something like that, almost 48 hours. I told you guys this, and this is another reason I'm sparking this up. Somebody contacted me and they was on that highway and they watched me, and God bless you, and I'm glad you made it out. 32 hours? Okay, I'm glad you made it out. They had some stuff in their car. And you know what? They remember when I said that little box, I said have enough food in there, have enough water, all that stuff. You know what? They had it. If you do not have things to keep you alive in a car right now for 48 hours, you, with the things that's going on now, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. With the things that's going on now, you're messing up. If you got a boom box in the back of your Jeep, man, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Them little hand warmers, and get that little heater that I showed you. You know what I was supposed to have? I was supposed to have my bucket bug out from my Jeep in here, but I can't get it. Don't say no politicians' names, okay? Oh, wait a minute. I didn't mean to hide you from the channel. Wait. But don't say no politicians' names. Didn't you see how I was dancing all around the even the politician that made the healthcare system? I don't want to hear no politicians' names, please. Don't do that. So, those people were stuck in that car. And this is a few things that I know I got in my bucket. I know off the top of my head. I can't go get it, but I wrote them down. Right. Canned goods. Get you some food. Okay, not nothing that you canned yourself. Not nothing in jars, because you're dealing with climate change in those jars. You're dealing with extreme heat if you live in the South, and in the North, you're dealing with extreme cold. So those jars will go bad real quick if it's in those extreme conditions. You want to keep canned foods. I know this sounds crazy and you might not like it. It is what it is. This is about survival. Things like, where I got it. Here you go. That y'all always see in my video. Canned meat, canned ham, canned spam, canned sardines, can of beans, canned beans. Simple things like that. Things with protein in it that you want to keep in your car that's going to last a long time. You don't need to eat much of it. And this will feed everybody for about 48 hours. Now, mind you, you ain't going to sit down to no smorgasbord, okay? This ain't the Golden Corral. Everybody just trying to stay alive. You need at least 5 gallons of water in one of those totes that I showed y'all. At least 5 gallons of water. The reason I say put all of this stuff in that 5-gallon bucket, because that 5-gallon bucket turns around and becomes a toilet, as well as, just in case you need to venture off and go find water or go pick some berries, you can haul all of that in that bucket. I know that bucket sounds crazy, but that's why I started that years ago. It's just it's just a necessity. You don't have to look for nothing to carry water or nothing. Okay? Granola bars, stuff like that. Nuts, literally dried nuts, almonds, peanuts, cashews. You understand what I'm saying? Dried nuts here's one right here, one of my favorites. Peanut butter. Peanut butter. Okay? You keep this stuff in your car. Jerky, beef jerky. Thank you for that. Yes. Okay? You keep this stuff in your car. Blankets. I wrote all this stuff down that, just right off the top of my head, that I know that's in my bucket. Water. Y'all see that every time I'm in my Jeep. Food, we just talked about that. You need your blankets. You need a couple of cheap jackets. They don't even have to be, everybody looking for the big double fat, triple fat goose coats. All you need is how many people usually in your car, right? You, your kids. So usually about 4 people. Put 4 cheap hoodies and roll them up in a ball like I showed you. Stuff them in that bucket. That's going to help you stay warm. Gloves, jackets. All right. Now we're going to talk about some first aid, because in those, when you're caught on a road like that, one car might not stop and crash into you, and look at all them cars that did crash. Nothing nobody could have done for them. Nothing. It was bumper to bumper. So you turn around, you got a little first aid kit in. Peroxide, alcohol, duct tape, gauze, band-aids. Don't get all crazy and start talking about all the other nonsense. This stuff will patch you up good enough, especially duct tape. Don't sleep on duct tape. And super glue. Don't sleep on it. Okay? I keep a small tent. Man, I really wish I could go outside and get it. Y'all have seen it in my RV. You've seen me talk about it out on my island. We keep a small 2-man tent in every car. In my RV, I literally have 4 of those. I have 4 of them for a reason. I have the small 2-man tents in my RV because sometimes people like to show up and hang out with us. So if there's not enough room in the RV, I got a tent they can set up and stay in. That's happened more times than you will know. Okay. We talked about the 5-gallon bucket. Something to start fire. You need matches. You need a lighter. You need to know how to start a fire with none of that. But a bunch of plain lighters, just big lighters, cotton, Vaseline, hand warmers, anything to start a fire, okay? You need to keep your maps. I keep telling y'all about the maps. Keep your doggone city maps, area maps, road maps, state maps. All of that in your car, and somewhere in the glove box, anywhere. Everything I'm telling you right now shouldn't cost everybody. If you put this whole thing together, it should not cost you no more than 50 bucks. Flashlight. What I just do? Go get you a rechargeable. If you can't get one of these solar charging flashlights, this is the best, because this is the actual solar panel right here. So you don't even have to worry about draining your battery trying to charge this. Okay? A small generator. Two of the best smallest generators that I like for little situations like that is that Jackery 240 or the Jackery 300 or the Energizer P320, because that gives you 300 watts of emergency juice right there. That's perfect. You don't need to be doing nothing crazy. This is just enough. Remember, you don't need a Jackery 500. You don't need no AC 200P. You need something that's going to get you through 48 hours, okay? You need something, communication, 2-way radios. They cheap as dirt. 2-way radios. That's the best thing. Something to charge your cell phone. Keep extra cords in your car to charge whatever you need to charge. Don't keep taking one in the house, out the house, in the house, out the house. I can show you right now. I buy these whenever I see them. Even while I'm waiting in line at the grocery store, I'll buy a whole nother jack to go to my phone. Just because. Okay? I'll put it somewhere else. We got to be more smart. We buy so much crap. Now we really need to start thinking critically. Okay. And last but not least, protection. I'm not going to get into what kind of protection you need, because a lot of people are against everything I'm going to say. But you need something to protect yourself, because if you're trapped in that car, everybody that's trapped in that line with you on that highway or wherever you are, they're not all there to help you. Okay? Some kind of multi-tool that has different tools in it that may help you fix certain things or fix wounds, and it has weapons built on it. Okay? So that's as simple as it was. I didn't want to be on here long. I wanted to run down that list, and if you didn't hear it, that's why I'm keeping this video short, so you can go back down and write all this stuff down that you're going to need to know. And as far as preparing ourselves for either isolation, preparedness, or out there on that road, or even our own demise, we really need to start looking into doing that for real. Everything I just told you ain't gonna cost you 50 bucks for that whole list of everything I just told you. If you don't know the next step or what to do next about if something were to happen to you and how would you get there, Google. That's what it's for. Start asking questions. Nothing is going to happen until you start asking questions, because we're not even meant to be here for long. We've been put on this rock to do what you was put here to do, and then it's going to be time to go home, whether you want to or not. Okay? Whether you want to or not. After the party is over, it's time to go to the house. Right? Sometimes be like, oh, I would have loved for that party to last forever. It ain't meant to be that way. Thank you, El Chingan. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for the donation. I'm sorry if I missed any. I just really needed to get that out. Thank you, Herb. No, I gotta move that though, Herb, okay? I gotta move that because we can't say that, my friend. But thank you anyway, okay? Because YouTube will knock me for that. But thank you, my friend. All right. Any quick questions? I'm gonna be on here like 4 more minutes. Real quick. So if just to recap, prepare some sort of isolation room or shed, garage. Prepare that spot or that space in your home or whatever on your land with the proper amount of water, the proper amount of food, everything. And you do the exact same thing for your vehicle. Okay? I'm just telling you. I'm a move that, Deshaun, because they hate that too. That's good information, but for some reason they always knock me for saying those letters. King of Queen, that's why right there. Cause see, some people believe in them, some people don't, and then it get nasty and YouTube start tripping on them words. Don't say them letters. But thank you. I totally understand. Yeah, I got a little sniffles. There's a new thing going out. I was watching a friend of mine's video, and there's a new word that came out, and it's freaking people out. It's a mixture of the common flu and whatever is going on now. So, I don't know nothing about that, but I was watching him, and I was like, what? I listened to his whole video, and it made me go do some research. And here we go again. Don't say it, please. Oh, my God, y'all. Listen. If people don't get it, they ain't meant to get it. Don't put the word up. That's why when you see me dancing around words, it be a reason. It ain't because my vocabulary is shy. I dance around words so people can get the message. You know. Because they'll shut that down real quick. Thank you, Black Phoenix. Thank you for that. I really appreciate you. So, and if you ain't sure, when some of us YouTube creators, it sounds like we're not talking sense and we using code words and dancing around stuff like that. That's because it's key words that if we say them, we get in trouble. So yeah. Any questions real quick, you guys? Oh, by the way, what I made in that video, the spoonful of sugar video, I'm going to say that was a fun video to make. And I've been doing that all my whole life. Oh my God, please take that off. Please stop saying the word. I wish I wouldn't have said it now. Hold on. Please take that off. Yes, thank you. Don't say it. We get it. That word is going to get us all knocked. So, that remedy that I made, everybody know it as a hot toddy. Everybody. That's what it was. Let me tell you something. Some of our old school remedies work. Does canned food freeze or just go do the research? Okay, do the research on that. But really, The information I'm trying to give you right now is so necessary because I don't care what you believe in. I don't care whether you think whatever is going on is real or not. You don't even have to think of just this situation. Nobody even thought, nobody thought none of the things that happened in the last 2 years would happen. Don't do that. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna take that away too, just in case. But just think, whether you believe in what's happening or not, it has changed all of our lives for the last 2 years. Your life has changed dramatically, whether you believe in it or not. So I'm not saying you have to believe it, and I'm not saying you don't. But I am saying that the powers that be are making you get yourself prepared for it, whether you believe in it or not. See, that's what always get me about people. Oh, it ain't even real. But now you ain't got no job. It ain't even real. But now you ain't got no money. It ain't even real. I ain't getting that. You ain't got to. But your lifestyle has to change because of whatever it is you don't believe in. Your lifestyle has changed, though. All of ours have, for the better or for the worse. So all I'm saying is I'm not here to contest anybody whether it's real or not. My only reason to be here is to tell you, just prepare for what they set up for us. This is like a game of tennis. You don't know what the player across the doggone net is about to throw at you next. You just get ready. You don't never see no tennis player like this, do you? You see that tennis player like this. He moving or she moving. They back and forth. This is a game of tennis, what we doing right now. Because you don't know what they about to throw at us next. Every single week is something new, ain't it? Every single week it's a new test. Somebody even said Hunger Games, doggone right. Every week, not every month no more. Every week. You know what I feel like? I feel like for 2 years, I'm back in college, and it feel like now every week is a new exam. Every week, we studying for an exam every week because my head is throbbing because next week it's going to be this wrong. It's going to be that happen. It's going to be this, between the people blowing up schools and between the, you understand, hatred, the Karens, the whatever is floating around in the air, man, every week. I can't take it no more. I'm exhausted by just doing this and trying to anticipate what they're going to throw at us next. I'm exhausted. Right? Guava. This is how I feel right now. You see, Stimpy? That's how I feel. I feel like that. I feel like he look. Guava. If you're not growing elderberry, all I can tell you is if you've had elderberry, real elderberry, I'm not talking about something you bought off the shelf. If you've processed your own elderberry and you've taken it yourself, there is something different about that stuff. Elderberry syrup. It's something different about that. Now, I've had elderberry syrup off the shelf. And I was all like, I ain't buying that no more. You know how expensive that stuff is? I ain't buying that no more. When you take it yourself, you feel it working. Now, when you add on to your own lemons or your own citrus, then you turn around and add in your own honey out of your own beehives, and maybe even your own wine. Let me tell you something. I know I was joking around in that video. And I'm going to say something. I'm going to be reaching. But even though I was just joking around, and even though I had fun making the video, I think that saved my life. I think what my mom used to make helped save my life. Now, everything that I put in there, I grew in my garden. But there's other things that you can be getting, like cinnamon. I put some cinnamon in there one day, some cayenne pepper, not cayenne pepper, some of my a little bit of Carolina Reaper. Um, I put a little bit of everything in there extra. A clove of garlic, because our garlic wasn't ready yet. That's the only reason I didn't put that in there on the video. But I'm telling you, y'all, we ain't just growing for show no more. We growing to survive. We growing to live. And if you ain't ready for that and you just want to do it to put on YouTube so you can get some views, so you can get some money, good luck with that. I'm even say this, ain't nothing wrong with that. But on a realistic tip, man, grow this stuff so you can really survive. Because it's something going on out there. Did I use regular? That's a whole nother video. I got videos on making wine, okay? As a matter of fact, I'm making some right now. I'm making some, can I, I'll show you that. I'll show you that. I got a video coming up that is gonna show you. Okay? Simple wine. I ain't talking about you gonna be out there and, you know, drink this with steak and lobster. This is just for survival. Okay? So I'm gonna let y'all go. I just wanna make sure, please, please, make you a space in your home or in your area for some kind of quarantine. Close to water, close to food, close to a bathroom, and something that you can tape off. Can you tape it off if you needed to? Can you put up plastic if you needed to? It sounds crazy, don't it? If you needed to truly quarantine somebody with everything that's going on right now, let's just say this. Okay, that's what I thought. Let's just say this. Don't you at least want to make it so you'll be able to quarantine somebody else you love? You don't want nothing to happen to Big Mama. Her immune system already weak. She up in age. She already tired. Her joints is sore. Her bones is weak. Even if you don't believe in what's going on out here, don't it make you kind of be like, just in case I'm wrong, I don't want to risk, I don't want to gamble what I think going on out there. I don't want to gamble my mother's or my grandmother's or my elders' life on my opinion. Even if you don't believe it, I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying, is your opinion or the knowledge that you've collected, is it even worth risking the life of somebody else that cannot make too many decisions for themselves? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's not worth it to me. Whether I believe in it or not, it's not worth it to me. Okay? So get you a spot to get just in case quarantine. Just in case you need to quarantine. Somebody needs to quarantine for a while. For any reason. Okay? We can talk about reality. Okay? Chicken pox. We can talk about stuff like that you know gonna happen in your household. Quarantine. A place in your house that you can go and start disinfecting, where you ain't got to try to disinfect the whole entire house, because if you don't know about chicken pox, once one of the kids got it, the other kid got it. Once that kid got it, now you got it. And you had it when you was a kid. Okay? So, I just think we need to start talking about a little bit more reality. That's all. Ain't nothing wrong with having fun. Um, how do how do you suggest we do isolation with kids? You do isolation with children just like you would do it with your elders or do it with yourself. It's no different. Isolation is isolation. When you say how are you supposed to manage your child that's in isolation, you got to do your own research on that. And that also has a lot to do with how you've raised your child. Like, how obedient are they to you? Because that has a lot to do with quarantine, running out in the street and getting hit by a car. How do you handle your children? Do everything you need them to do for you. You got to offer them a snack. Okay, okay, Bobby. Okay, okay, okay. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. Here, you can have the candy. Just be quiet. That is awful. If you have to reward your child for absolutely everything you told him to do as a parent, when that child gets older, he think everything he's supposed to be doing, he needs a reward. And I know I ain't gonna talk. I'm gonna talk about parenting on our other channel on LBX73, and I'm gonna just tell you from my perspective, you can do whatever you want to do. But every time these people be walking their children through the store, and I keep saying the kid kicking the cart, I hate you, and then you turn around, okay, here, just hold the ham, you can have it. When that kid get old, you know what they gonna turn into? Karen. That's why it's so many of them now. There's so many of them Karens out there because they're not getting their way. Things aren't going their way. They don't want you to sell water on the corner, but they say, why? Why don't you want me to sell water? Because I don't want you to. All Karen is that same kid in the grocery store that you got to keep giving them and let them eat the Snicker bar inside the store before it's even paid for. Because so they can stop whining, stop crying, stop driving the other customers crazy. You embarrassed, so you going to, listen, you're embarrassed about your child cutting up, so you reward him. Look what you just did. You rewarded him. Now it's planted in his head. All I got to do is kick this cart a few times, call her a handful of bees, and embarrass her a little bit, and she going to give me anything I want. So now he know how to embarrass you. He got all that power over you. And he going to know how to push your buttons for the next 40 years. Hence the new Karens. And Karens is men's too. Okay? So part of quarantining your child means your child has to follow directions. You know what happens usually? For instance, when I was on my land before this house, if my son, little Led, had to listen to me. You know why? Because there's a snake right there. Don't move. Don't you move. And I have pictures of it too on Facebook, by the way. Don't you move. Don't look back. Red light, green light. I'm going to drive the snake off this way. But if you move, we're in trouble. That is obedience. No, not like a dog. Your father is protecting you. You do what I say. I don't owe you no explanation. I don't owe you an excuse all the time. Sometimes there's no time for that. I'll explain it to you once you're safe. Okay? Then I let him see. You see that copperhead? Son, that was 2 feet away from you. That's why. And now my son know when I say stop, don't move. To this day, my son is 16, he'll do this. He ain't no dog. He know his dad is protecting him from something. And I don't play jokes like that. That pranking crap. I don't do that. Anyway, that's for a whole nother channel, whole nother story. I hope everybody listen to me in this video and just do your own research on what I just said. You don't have to believe anything I just said. Just please, because we're losing our wealth by just the fine print. Fine print is killing us, y'all. That's why we don't have no generational wealth. That's one of the biggest reasons. No opportunities to make generational wealth, but when it is an opportunity and we do, we can't pass it on. This from that little fine print. Okay? So look into that. Let's not keep talking about life. Let's also talk about our demise. Let's also get ourselves ready, like that tennis court, for whatever they about to throw at us next. Right now, ain't nothing out the window. Ain't nothing too ridiculous to talk about no more. Okay? So, thanks everybody for hanging out with me. I hope this helped you even just a little bit, okay? What I'm going to try to do is come back in and then we can discuss some other stuff. I'm not going to talk about the generator again because the code, there's something wrong with the code. We'll talk about that later. But I really did want to get this. This was one of the big videos I wanted to talk about yesterday. Okay? So everybody, please be safe. Get ready. Prepare your home. Prepare your vehicles for this crazy weather in this crazy world. Just do the best you can do. And here's a question before I go. I'm going to answer it. Les, should I get a hard solar panel or should I get a fold-up solar panel? Both. Keep that fold-up solar panel with you when you leave, and your hard solar panel is for home. All my fold-up solar panels is in my cars and in my vehicles for reasons like that I-95 situation. We had a blackout during camp, and I haven't even released that yet. We had a blackout during camp, and guess what? That's part of that Alcatel video. We had a blackout while we was at camp. The power at the camp went out. I had solar. Ain't nothing promised you, not even camp. So I'm in a big RV. I could have cut my generator on. That loud generator, no, that solar power kept us rocking through the night. Okay? So, everybody have a wonderful night, a wonderful day. Be safe, all right? Just wanted to put something on your dome real quick, okay? Everybody, I love you. Be safe. Have a good one, okay? Live from 73. I love you, and I'm out.